Welcome to another week in motorsport. I'm very kindly joined by Rob Widdows, our features editor again, so thank you once again for making the trip all the way up here. It's very much appreciated. Today we'll be talking about the Formula 1 World Championship and also MotoGP. Right, well Rob, Formula 1 first. There's quite a lot of news going on at the moment. I mean, I'm just going to read from here. There's actually quite a list. CVC may be selling the rights to Formula 1.
Maybe,
Rupert Murdoch and others may be buying them. There's a new Concord agreement that needs to be sorted. And also, Ferrari president Luca de Montezemolo has now said, oh, we might have another breakaway series. Is this just all posturing, or is, or is it business as usual?
Well, it is business as usual, isn't it? Because Formula 1 in recent times is always in the news, isn't it? It's quite a clever trick, actually, because every time you open a paper or a magazine or switch on a TV, there's Formula 1. And as some of us know, in years gone by, you would be hard pushed to find it anywhere. So in that sense, I guess it's good. It's certainly good for the sponsors. If you're putting money into a sport, you want it to be all around, don't you? Whether there's what is actually happening, I'm not so sure. And the reason I'm not is because Mr. Ecclestone is such a clever man. He's such a good wheeler dealer. That what he's actually thinking as compared to what's actually going on may be two very different things. But I did think the most interesting development was what Montezemolo said about, do we need Ecclestone in the future? Is it time for a complete change? I mean, after all, the man is 80 years old, or I hope I'm not doing him an injustice there. If he's not 80, he's certainly very close to it. He must therefore be coming to the end of his reign, I would have thought. And then there's the Concord Agreement, which of course is the most vital component of this whole discussion, because the teams are absolutely determined to get more of the share of the television revenue. And if that is to happen, if they are to get that, it will require a change in the Concord Agreement. So yes, I could see it changing hands. I could see it happening, but from a personal point of view, Ed, I hope it isn't bought by News Corporation. And the only reason I say that is because I don't want to watch Formula 1 on Sky TV particularly. When I do watch it on TV, I like to watch it without advertising.
And there's also Jean Todt saying, well, the FIA needs a bigger slice of the cake as well. So I think there's certainly going to be quite exciting times up ahead. And as you said, do we still need Bernie? But the problem is, I've just read Tom Bauer's autobiography of the man, and it's an amazing insight to just how much control he likes to have. And as you said, he's coming to the end of his reign. You've got to be aged 80, but he's always loved to be in total control of situations. So there's always that, isn't there?
Yes, I mean, I happen to have a friend who's very close to Bernie, and he often tells me how far ahead Bernie thinks. Apparently, one of his great strengths is that he's always thinking way down the line as to what his next end goal is. So this time, I think we can only speculate. Maybe he's decided to quit himself at the end of 2012. I mean, we don't know that. As far as people wanting a slice of the cake, I mean, it's a hell of a fruity cake, isn't it? I mean, this is a cake that is worth billions and billions of dollars. And, of course, everybody wants a bigger slice of it. I'm sure the FIA would like a bigger slice. I know the teams would certainly want to get a bigger slice. And it's true to say, isn't it, that Mr. Ecclestone has taken a pretty big slice of it for many years now. He is a very wealthy man. But on the other hand, if it hadn't been for him in the beginning, where would Formula 1 be now? So, I mean, we could talk about it all day, but I sort of sense, I don't know about you, but I sort of sense there is change in the wind here. Whether or not it's News Corporation, could be, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. We've got to talk about some of the racing in the sport. Maybe we can talk about politics all day. Spanish Grand Prix coming up.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the first time we see overtaking in Catalonia with all this DRS thing? I mean, it should be a good Grand Prix. Never thought I'd say that about the Spanish Grand Prix.
Well, we were talking to our editor, Damien, just now, weren't we? And Damien said to me, could be the first Grand Prix, Spanish Grand Prix with overtaking for a very long time. And he's right, of course, as usual. Yes, well, I mean, there will be overtaking, won't there? Well, why wouldn't there be? I mean, why would there suddenly not be when we've seen it all year so far? And it will sure as hell improve this race, because I think it's fair to say it has been a very dull race in recent years, hasn't it? Which is a shame, because, it's Alonso's home race. They have a huge crowd. The atmosphere is unbelievable in Barcelona.
It's such a change from coming from Turkey and then arriving in Spain.
Yeah, that's right. So, yes, I'm sure we'll see it, even if it is artificial. I can't see why Red Bull won't be at the front again. Can you? Okay, we've had 2 weeks development for McLaren and Ferrari, but I would...
2 weeks for Red Bull as well, isn't it?
Yes, 2 weeks for Red Bull as well. And also, Vettel's on fantastic form, isn't he? I'd like to see Webber do better in Barcelona. And I do think Ferrari will be closer still. I do. But I would see Red Bull hanging on for another, another race or two. I'll probably be wrong. Actually,
it wouldn't be the first time, Rob. Don't worry.
It wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't be. But I'd like to see Ferrari win a race. Yeah. Actually, I would, or McLaren. But I'd like to see a new winner.
Yeah. Alonso on home turf in a Ferrari.
Yes. That'd be good. Be exciting.
Yes. MotoGP, another fantastic race. But the racing wasn't really what made the headlines on Sunday afternoon. It was that move by Simoncelli on Pedrosa. Let's take this step by step. Was it a fair move?
Maybe we could go back half a step further, actually, just to say that, all sports bulletins, programs, magazines at the moment are talking about the politics of the sport, whether it be football or motor racing or whatever sport you choose. It's odd, isn't it? There's so much money at stake. I think this is partly what it's about. But in MotoGP, which is what we're talking about, a new boy has arrived on the scene with a bang, hasn't he, Simoncelli? He's not an absolute new boy, but he's certainly doing better this year than he has before. And they don't like it, do they?
No.
They do not like it. And in fact, I would say the weekend, as far as Simoncelli was concerned, was vindictive. I don't understand it. Well, I do understand it, but I certainly don't like it. And the move that he made to go into the lead of the race, into second place behind Stoner, who'd gone. Yeah, I thought it was a great move.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's racing. It's rare. It's bike.
Do you think he should have left a bit more room for Pedrosa?
Well, yeah, maybe in hindsight he should. But I mean, was it a penalty? No way. Come on.
I mean, because that's the other thing. He was given a drive-through penalty, which obviously ruined his race, number one. But number two meant that he couldn't appeal the situation, or his team couldn't. Surely a time penalty post-race, after it's been looked at and the telemetry on Pedrosa's bike's been looked at, would have been a better idea.
Also, look, if Rossi had made that move, if Pedrosa had made that move, if Lorenzo had made that move, would they have been given drive-through penalties? I really don't think they would. I'm sorry. I think someone's got it in for Simoncelli. He'd been up before the stewards the day before, if not that morning again. I don't understand it. I just thought it ruined the race. And nobody... I was going to say nobody was hurt, but actually there was a broken collarbone. But look, I mean, where's the line between racing and sort of matron getting involved with her big stick the whole time? Surely, we're there to see a race. The guys are there to race. And in my view, it shouldn't have been a penalty.
I mean, I think what this comes down to is, as in what we've seen in Formula One, is they now have a proper driver's steward who has been there, he's done it, he knows what the situations are like. And they don't have that in MotoGP. And you touched on it there. You said, Rossi would never have got this penalty, and he didn't. When he took down Stoner earlier in the year,
exactly.
nothing was said about it.
There you are.
So I think they should get a riders' representative sitting in that box and helping stewards make the decisions.
Yeah. I think to me it's very odd to be sitting here talking about this actually, and I tell you why. Because in the last few years we've all been raving about how exciting MotoGP is, and why? Because we've had these incredible moves. Overtaking moves, some of them borderline. I thought, yesterday was borderline. Yeah, okay, fine. but not a penalty. And surely this is what's built the reputation of MotoGP, and it's fantastic. I mean, Simoncelli, let's have someone new up there. I mean, I think it's terrific. I mean, all right. You know, Stoner's on fantastic form at the moment, and nobody could touch him yesterday. It was a beautiful ride, wasn't it? Really was an absolute textbook ride.
And well, talking about Rossi, what I loved at the end of the race is, you know, he's back on the podium. His first podium with Ducati, which is great to see. Yeah. And on the cooling down lap, he must have been cruising at sort of 50, 60 miles an hour, stood up and just took a bow to the fans. And I just thought, well, welcome back. It's great to see him back on the podium, isn't it?
And surely that's another great thing that all of us love about the sport that we love, whether it be racing or football or whatever, athletics or whatever it is that we love watching, you know, because sport needs stars. It really does. And
it needs heroes and villains, doesn't it?
Well, it does. But boy, oh boy, he's such a big star. I wish he'd come to racing. I wish he'd come to Formula One driving for Ferrari. It would have been fantastic. And you know, the other thing is that I don't think anybody thought Ducati would be on the podium this quickly.
No.
All right, it was slightly unreal in the sense that Simoncelli, the Simoncelli accident knocked 2 people out of the race. But, you know, a podium's a podium. And, yes, MotoGP without Rossi would be much, much, much less exciting, wouldn't it? And I'd like to see someone come into Formula One like that.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, someone like Raikkonen, who doesn't sort of care so much about the establishment and everything like that, would be refreshing.
You remember when we had, well, actually you don't, but anyway, when Gilles Villeneuve was Grand Prix racing, you know, the guy was such an exciting star in every sense of the word, you know, and we need people like that.
Mike Rockenfeller took his first DTM win of his career at Zandvoort on Sunday. The Audi driver managed to get away faster than Jamie Green at the start of the race and then leapfrogged Bruno Spengler at the first pit stops. Ex-Formula One driver and current BBC commentator David Coulthard's race wasn't as successful after he was given a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He eventually crossed the line in 16th. Rob Huff had a fantastic weekend at Monza aboard his Chevrolet, winning both World Touring Car races. After taking pole position for the first race, he fought with Alain Menu for the lead, making contact at least twice, but Menu was eventually taken out by Ivan Muller. In race 2, the Brit had a similarly hard-fought battle with Muller, but eventually won by a mere 0.2 seconds. Matt Kenseth has won for the second time this season after taking a gamble on strategy in the Sprint Cup race at Dover's Monster Mile. Kenseth, who only changed 2 tyres at his second and last stop, started from the front row at the final restart of the race. He held the lead to the end of the race, and those behind him, who had pitted for 4 new tyres, struggled to make any progress. Well, Rob, once again, thank you very much. It's big effort on your part to make it all the way here. It's almost as if you enjoy them.
Well, I think more importantly, I hope you enjoyed out there.
Many, many thanks for watching again, and we will see you next week for another week in motorsport.